And we're back. Second episode of Peach Fuzz coming at you live. Not the most ideal Sunday to be going live, but we couldn't not talk about baseball on opening day eve with all the games happening tomorrow. Got the Super Bowl going on, so I know halftime yet. I haven't even checked.
We just halftime.
Nice. So yeah, I just wanted to get back on here. We want to be consistent with these. Going live 8:00, 8:30 every Sunday to kind of recap the week and then talk about the week ahead. But first, we're just going to jump right into it. We got a couple guests coming on. We got a coach-player duo, Coach Thomas over at Cherokee, and then we have Reid Worley. Coach Thomas, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. We obviously, first coach we had on John Stutzer last week. But yeah, just wanted to chat with you for a few minutes. Opening day, what year is this for you at Cherokee?
This is 6, I think. I gotta count. My first year was 4 years, so it gets kind of crazy in the stats. But 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, this will be this is year 6. Yeah, fifth full year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's crazy. I guess pretty much you probably came in right whenever I was coming in at prep baseball. So, been there a while. Yeah, I guess that was COVID spring.
Yeah, it was a wild introduction to the high school baseball scene. That's for sure.
Yeah. One thing that you do really well, I think, and I think a lot of coaches probably will say the same thing, but just the culture that you have going on over there at Cherokee. Everything from, the locker room renovations that you've done to the Rawlings gloves, that stuff goes a long way for players. So just talk a little bit about what's that been like building that culture there. I know the community is so strong at Cherokee anyways. Like I'm right down the road from it, going to Creekview myself, but like I know the community's strong over there, but what else would you kind of attest to that culture that you've kind of built over there?
Well, you're right. I mean, it definitely starts there. We have a special community. Warrior Nation it's a real thing. It starts with good kids first and foremost. But from a cultural standpoint, you gotta build. If it's going to be a successful brand or organization or business, I like to think of our baseball program as a business. But if you're going to build anything strong, I think it's got to be built on pride, and you just got to care a lot about it. I think care level is a very important piece, but use what you have, use the blue collar tough kids that you have, which is what I think we have at Cherokee, and parents that are sometimes multiple generations of Warriors. We're not like a transplant town per se. It is growing, and it looks a little different than it did, decade or two ago, but we've got a lot of people in the community that care a lot about our high school. So leveraging relationships with business partners and different things like that. But I think it means something to play at our school. I think it's a big piece of a kid's baseball career is to go play for their school and rep the many logos that we now have and all the crazy stuff that the kids get over there, but I think it means a lot. I think they take a lot of pride in it. So I would just say leveraging that passion that people have for Cherokee High School.
Yeah, and I think it goes such a long way too. Like, and you can probably attest to it. Obviously, you've had a lot of talent over the last couple of years, but I think that talent only gets you so far, especially in the state of Georgia with how competitive we are. The guys you kind of bring up, and the last few that we've saw coming through, especially Worley. We'll go ahead and bring Worley in. But I think it's just it's cool to see, with high schools and how different stuff is, how different things have changed over the years. I think it's cool to be able to see, that culture that you've kind of built over there. Worley, what's going on?
What's up? How are you guys?
Reid figured out
well.
Doing
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on with first player coach duo that we had. We figured we hang out a few minutes. But yeah, Worley, we just asked Coach Thomas kind of about that culture that he's kind of built at Cherokee over the last few years. What's that been like coming through the program? And obviously, you're kind of the role model of progression in my eyes, on the mound and as a player. We talked about it, Super 60, when you're 74, 76 at 14, and it's been a steady climb over the last 4 or 5 years. So what's that been like at Cherokee and under Coach Thomas?
Yeah, kind of being an outsider, kind of being in middle school, going up through the program, you don't really see a whole lot of that until you get within the program. So I know our freshman year, now going into our senior year, it's completely changed. We talk about it all the time. And like you said earlier, I mean, skill only gets you so far, especially in high school ball when you got those long seasons, everything like that. So I think the culture we've been building, especially this year, and the years past, has just been completely a game changer. I mean, you can just completely tell at practices and games and just the things that like people really care about. And yeah, winning's good and all that, but if you can just take care of the character things, winning's going to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it's like I said, it's definitely been cool to see, especially like being a Cherokee County kid. Like I was super excited for you to come to Super 60 and see what that's about, and one of our first full circle guys with junior future games, and then into the Super 60. So touch on Super 60. How was the weekend? I know you had a good pin, 91, 93, same old Reid Worley slider. What was it like?
Yeah, it was sick. Never been to Chicago or Illinois or anything like that, so the weather was a little cold, but it was cool walking into that facility, and it's 100 yards of football field and batting cages and volleyball courts. They got everything going on. But it was pretty cool. Obviously, being on that stage with a bunch of scouts before, I can kind of say that I've been there, but it was still a really cool blessing just to be there and go out and perform and just try to be myself, not try to get within or get outside of my character and just go in there and try to pound the zone. But it's a great experience. Obviously, with the 6 other Georgia boys, it was a pretty cool experience for everyone.
Yeah, it was awesome. I know we had a really good time. Josh, what's it been like with Reid, kind of with his progression that he's had? It's been awesome to see. We've talked about it a ton, but what's that been like? Just seeing him develop and grow as a player.
Yeah, we're proud of him. It's going to be hard to compliment him too much with him on the stream. I like to save my compliments when he can't hear me, but no, he's a special kid. He really is. We talk kind of in coaching circles about you got to make the jump each year. You just have to make your you got to make your jumps to stay where you think you might can get to as far as your ceiling is concerned. And obviously, this young man's taken a huge jump over the last 12 months and really been one of those that have catapulted. We've had some pretty talented underclassmen come through our program, and to do what he's done from his junior year to his senior year it hasn't been done before at Cherokee. And we've had some guys play in professional baseball and stuff like that. But as far as what he's done with his, summer after his junior year going into his senior season, been pretty impressive. And really just you guys get to see all the, the physical stuff and the, I know you just mentioned 91, 92, hit a 3, hit a 94 on Wednesday, right, Reid?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. So all the physical stuff is cool for the world to see, but we get to see a guy that comes down and cares about his teammates and cares about his program and cares about his coaches and cares about, his craft. And it's just cool. He's kind of a star to a lot of folks, but he's just a really good teammate and one of our guys to us. And it's been fun to see him really grow emotionally and mentally, over the last couple of years. I think he would probably tell you that. Physically, yeah, he's gotten there, and I think he's still got a long way to go physically, but he's really matured to the level of, having that makeup and that, that character that he's going to need to get him to the next level. So definitely proud of him and his family and all that they've done for the program. But he's a special young man.
Yeah, it all ties back together too, like with the culture thing. And I think like you said, the talent stuff, obviously Reid is uber talented, but like that little extra is what starts to separate players, when there's a lot of 91, 93s floating around, in my opinion. But like when you get to that next level, like having that strong character and that sort of thing, the work ethic, all the good teammate stuff, all that is kind of the next thing that kind of pushes you over. Just looking at this region here, how are we feeling? I know that there's going to be some big time matchups that we're really looking forward to, but I know you are super excited for the challenge. I know you want to play the best. Knowing you the last few years, I know you want to get out there and compete.
What are the expectations for the team this year? Talking to both of you about personal expectations, growth for the team, and there's a lot of underclassmen coming up, both in the lineup and in the rotation behind Reid. So just talk a little bit on what to expect from the squad here in 25.
Yeah, we like our group. Reid can give you his answer, but I know he loves his teammates, and I finally feel like had some really talented teams come through my first couple years. That 21 and 22, class. We went down memory lane not long ago and talked about how got that 21 team. We just kind of rode a high. We had never gotten on the stage as far as postseason baseball or anything like that. It had been so long, and kind of rode a high. And then 22, we had a super talented team. Just kind of couldn't connect it all together. We were there pretty early. I think it was ahead of schedule, and then we did some cultural rebuild stuff and started to figure out what it's going to take to stay there. And this is the first group over the last couple of years we've maintained some pretty good success each year. But this is the first team that I personally feel like fits our style. I'm a pitcher by trade, so we're going to want to throw strikes and have depth on the mound, and our pitching staff goes toe to toe with all those good teams in our region, and got to pick it up on defense, and then we just like to cause havoc on offense. To be honest with you, we just want to get out there and play fast, and this is the first team top to bottom that I feel like really fits that style of play. So we look forward to bringing our game to other people, and we know from the flip side how difficult that is to handle. When guys get out there and they're running around and they're moving the ball and doing different things, it's we've got a style to fit that. I mean, you've got Jason Jarrett and Colin McGee and Andre, and there's just guys all through the lineup that are like just can fly, like super athletes and know the system, really get into the base running and know what they're doing out there too. So I'm excited. I think we can go toe to toe with those guys. We're looking forward to the competition. I can tell you that. I mean, we never shy away from those things. And the best news about it is it's not a gift to get to the postseason. You're certainly not going to be given anything, but once you get there, you feel like you've been tested by the best. So just look forward to in the last couple of years, kind of have had some ups and downs in our region schedule that don't make you stay on the razor's edge. And this year that's not the case. I mean, we're gonna have to bring it every single week. So we look forward to embracing that challenge. Getting through maybe some early adversity and realizing that us at our best, being consistent is good enough to beat anybody.
Yeah, the Morales McGee Jones combo, like that's a bloop air and a walk away from turning into 2-3 runs if somebody does a job with those guys on base. So yeah, those guys are always fun to see when they get on the bases. Reid, how did the red white game? Did you get to throw against some of the teammates? How'd that go?
So fortunately, I guess you could say I did not get a throw in that. I kind of other team kind of ran away with it, scoring it up being 17-0.
Oh man!
But it was good sitting in the dugout supporting everyone, getting to see how everyone kind of plays, kind of from the backstage. I know Coach Thomas wasn't really coaching, just kind of floating around, so I know he enjoyed that, just being able to monitor everything. But going back to the region, I know we're really excited about the schedule. Obviously, you can look at it, but we're just ready to compete. I know I've known nothing other than postseason baseball, so we don't expect anything short of that. So we're going to go in there and compete each and every day. Like Coach Thomas said, there's not really an off week for us in the region. And I think that's going to keep us focused, which is ultimately going to help us. And then on top of that, playing all these top teams in the region only gets you more prepared for state. So I know we're really looking forward to that. And we're just really excited for what's to come.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. I know one of our guys couldn't stand it. He had to get out to see you guys the other day at Woodstock. So saw a couple freshmen floating around that had some good nights in Bibby. So I know you're excited about that one, Josh. But yeah, we're excited to come out to see you guys. We're counting down the days. We got the Georgia Dugout Club schedule pulled up here, so we'll get things kicked off. Next Friday against Seconder, right? So that should be that'll be an interesting group with Seconder, East Paulding, and Jones County. Some guys that you don't always get to see. That's one of my favorite things about Georgia Dugout Club is seeing those unique matchups that you don't always get to see. So I know you guys are excited to be there for that one for sure.
Yeah, it's a great event. We appreciate all the coverage for sure. But
If we can get some good weather, that would be ideal. But
it's hard to converge a bunch of good teams in one area and get games this time of year. So
it's
great
tough.
facilities like that. So we're grateful. If you're looking at the forecast this week, it's hard to play on anything but turf. So
for sure.
We're excited to get over there for sure.
Yeah, well, sweet. I appreciate you guys jumping on. First, like I said, first player coach duo. So yeah, it's been fun. Reid, thanks. Coach Thomas, thanks. Good luck. Good luck. What we got? Tuesday? Or no, y'all bumped up to tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, good luck out there.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. We'll be either have a guy over there or we'll be keeping an eye on the score. So if not, we'll see you guys next Friday. Appreciate you jumping on.
You guys. Thanks for coverage.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thanks you, Reid. Appreciate it, Wes.
Bye.
Nice.
Well, that was fun. Yeah.
Always
stuff.
good to talk to the boys,
Yeah, Coach Thomas, we've kind of like known of each other for a long time, and he was, I think, a GA at Piedmont before that, so he's been around. He knows baseball, and it's been cool to see what that program's done over there. My dad actually went to Cherokee, so it's cool to see it. Being I don't know
if you noticed the other day in the scrimmage, they're like doing the Vandy type situation. I know they got all the new gear and the new uniforms this year, but they're making the guys earn it. So they're out there wearing their practice unis, blank hats. So they're trying to earn all their gear. So the culture's being built in Cherokee. It's pretty cool to see a lot of young guys coming up there and buying into what it takes to be a winner. And I think it's really cool to see with what's happening over there.
Yeah, that stuff just goes such a long way with players, even at like the college level, like the road trips and the travel and the stuff, as you want to call it, like, that's some of the most like fun times you'll ever have. And starting it at a high school age is really cool to see. But yeah, we'll keep this thing moving. We wanted to touch on what we got.
We'll go on Dugout Club a little bit more since we just jumped into that. We'll keep touching on some of the big matchups this weekend. Obviously, we have opening day tomorrow. We can touch on that some as well. There's matchups everywhere now with everybody's game getting moved up to tomorrow. I think it's going to be my mind was made up, but now I'm having to think about it. But likely at the same spot. But yeah, back to GDC. Let's talk about some big matchups. What you got on your radar there, Huddy?
Yeah, that Cherokee pool, that one's gonna be a lot of fun, but it's hard not to talk about the Blessed Trinity Walton. I know you're super pumped on that one, but for me, probably that Friday night, that North Paulding Alexander matchup for me is probably one that's going to be circled. Likely we see Matthew Westbrook in that situation. I'm sure. I know he got thrown in last year as pretty much the one for that team, and Coach Martinez wanted to put him in those big spots. So I would assume, he's getting the ball early in that one, and that North Paulding lineup is going to be a tough one to get through. So we'll see what Westbrook's there. But man, we'll go Jackson Peavy as well with Peach County. Them getting to see them come up is going to be really exciting as well.
We'll have our young up and coming Denmark team as well, 6:30 Friday night.
Yeah. And what about all these scrimmages? Like every scrimmage that I looked at, I think I saw a bomb in every scrimmage. Like Ethan England got into one in the Denmark Bluff series, and Hayden Downs hit one to the moon in the Carrollton series.
I go see Stetzer on Friday. He hits bombs in BP, and then he goes out to a scrimmage on Saturday and hits a bomb pretty much the same exact spot as he hit one Friday. So, I mean, the boys are locked in to start the year. I think everybody's really juiced to play baseball, even with this short practice window that everybody's had to deal with. I haven't, at this moment in time, been hearing some pretty good health from around the state, which is awesome to hear. Obviously, we have to continue to monitor that and continue to take care of guys as we get the season rolling early with this weather coming up. But yeah, it's been encouraging all around, man. That the scrimmages look great. It's been good out. I mean, obviously, I went out and saw Etowah. We talked about it earlier this week. That was fun to see. A lot of the practice days have looked good as well. And it's going to be exciting. I think tomorrow is a big day for a lot of teams, and I don't think I've been this. I mean, I was pretty juiced up last year for opening day. It's my first day.
But now you know guys. Before,
yeah, but now I know guys. Yeah. I felt weird, but now it just feels real, and like I get out and see all the guys that we followed all year and got to all these events, and it's just progression has been really insane for a lot of these guys. And it's just going to be exciting to see what the offseason has held for, and a lot of these dudes. So.
Yeah, I know. Even for me too.
You're going to a fun spot tomorrow for opening day, I've heard.
Central Carrollton versus Villarica. I'm gonna go over there and see. Central has 3 freshmen in the lineup, which you always like to see. Center fielder and then shortstop, second base duo are freshmen. So, gonna try to go see those guys early. Villarica really put together a really strong season last year, and I never actually got to put eyes on them. We had one of our guys go out to see them in the playoffs, I think, Woodstock maybe, in one of the early rounds. But they put together a really strong year last year, so I want to get out to see them early. I think they ended up beating Carrollton in their scrimmage. Obviously, scrimmage is what it is, but obviously still a tough team in Carrollton. So going to get over there and see that one tomorrow, 5:30 at Central Carrollton. So excited to get out there and see those guys. You're headed to St. Pius, or is it at Dunwoody?
At Dunwoody against St. Pius. Yes, actually, in the 158 games I attended last spring, I didn't see either of these teams. So we're going to start with 2 teams that I haven't been able to see. I've seen a lot of their guys coming up. Obviously, I saw a bunch of Matthew Perch in the summer, Yale commit, former future gamer, one of the more underrated arms in the class, 92, 94, 4 pitches, really durable frame. Should be electric tomorrow. Will be exciting to see. Obviously, excited to see that. Obviously, St. Pius has a ton of guys. Mikhail Stevenson at top of the rotation. Michael D, obviously, as dynamic as you're going to find in this class. Might be in center, might be at short. Not quite. We'll find out tomorrow. There's some young guys on that team as well. Robbie Frierson, who I'm excited to see. Really lit up the bat at preseason All-State a few weeks ago, and then we saw him on the mound, I think, a few days ago in the scrimmage and looked pretty good as well. Physical frame, a guy has a chance to be an impact player in that 27th class, and I'm excited to get up there and see them early in the year as we get forward to get kicked off, man. I'm juiced now. I had the Super Bowl today. I went and saw some college baseball earlier this afternoon. I'm just trying to get locked in, That's all I feel like doing right now is talking about baseball, but now my thoughts are all scattered.
So, yeah, I think Michael D was another one that got a hold of one and hit a bomb in their scrimmage. Going to Georgia Tech.
Everybody's got juice this spring, it feels like. So is it going to be a loud spring? I mean, I think that's the move. Hitting bombs. Everybody's a home run hitter now. I know. I was talking to Trevor Condon last year in the summer. Like, he hit that bomb in the state championship, and then he kept going around saying, "I don't hit home runs. I don't hit home runs." And then first scrimmage of the year this day hits a no doubter to right center. So maybe everybody's hitting home runs now, so I think it should be a fun spring.
Yeah, no, definitely looking forward to it. But no, the Georgia Dugout Club is always one of our favorite times of the year, and both weeks are really loaded. Honestly, second week there's some really, really big matchups. But no, this first week we're excited to get into, starting on Friday. Harrison, South Forsyth, that's going to be a good one. I know South Forsyth takes on Kings Ridge tomorrow. That's a unique matchup that we, don't always get to see with a strong Kings Ridge program in the lower classifications against a Harrison squad that's, made a good run last year in the playoffs. And we'll have Jack Johnson over there this year, so that should be a good one tomorrow. Hebron Christian versus Gainesville is another one I think we're going to be out at. Getting to see Coach Brown over at Gainesville for the first time is going to be exciting. I know they got some young pieces over there, and Asher Stevens, Dawson Vaughn, upperclassmen now, and Beckett Brown. A couple other guys over there that we want to definitely get a chance to see early.
Peyton Oshieski, 28, up to 90 in the summer. Really good at the plate as well. Could get some time at first base for them and on the mound. Really intriguing freshman in this 28 class.
But yeah, we're excited to get things kicked off tomorrow and then roll right into next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, not looking great like we talked about. Turf fields with minimal rain, let us know for that Tuesday, Wednesday. We want to try to find some turf.
Yeah, if there's a game to get to Tuesday, I'll sit in some sprinkles if we could play on some turf. But, I mean, it doesn't look great. But, yeah, if we're playing baseball on Tuesday, we'd like to be there. I know it's going to be tough for a lot of guys, but we want to be out as many games as possible this year. So.
Yeah, Dawson County versus Bluff is circled for me at the moment. We'll see what happens with it. Luckily, Dawson just got their turf put in this for this season, so a little bit better of a chance there to see that one. I think that'll be a good matchup. Obviously, Bluff coming off a really, really competitive scrimmage with Denmark. I know Denmark snuck in there for us in the Power 25 and ended up getting Bluff by one run in their scrimmage game. But obviously, staffing those games with arms and making sure everybody gets innings and at bats and all that good stuff. So yeah, excited to get things kicked off tomorrow. But what do we say? rankings just dropped the last couple days. Minimal updates, nothing too crazy. We got to see the most players we've ever seen in the preseason this year. I think we're probably pushing close to 400. Between the two preseason all states and our 4 IDs that we ran. So definitely got some new names in the mix. Some small changes throughout. Nothing too crazy. But let's talk a little bit about this 2027 class. That was probably the biggest movement that we had was in that 27 group. Who are some of yours that obviously I know we had quite a few risers, but who are a couple of your guys that you're keeping a close eye on this spring and, made a big jump in the preseason?
I mean, we'll start with the guy who's jumped almost into the top 20, and Mason Peak is one of the top 2 ways, kind of, again, talk about sleepers in this class, kind of a guy who blew up over the summer. We really saw his arm really tick up to 90. He's got a really good 12-6 curveball as well that misses a ton of bats. There's a ton of power at the plate as a right-handed hitter. He can profile across the outfield with a huge arm as well. I think he's going to be a big piece both in the lineup and the rotation for Calhoun this year, and I think he finds his way to keep pushing farther up this list as we get closer. And then the guy I just talked about a few days ago, I just went out and saw him at practice on Friday, Luke Winbush. I've talked about him a bunch on this pod and from when we started this and from on paper and whatnot. He's just a guy that I think's got one of the highest floor ceilings in the class. Plays a really good third base, is in the mix at shortstop as well, has a really good glove. He's bouncy on his feet. There's great footwork as well. He's got range laterally. He's got an 89-mile-an-hour arm across the infield. You can also put it behind the plate. He's 181 pops with an 83-mile-an-hour arm behind the plate. Kind of does it all. The bat to ball is as good as you're going to find in this class as well. He just hits. You can stick him really anywhere in the lineup, and he's going to produce for you. It's not a ton of power yet, but he's growing into it, uses the gaps really well, and just does all the little things. He fits that Pope gamer mentality. A ton of the guys that we've seen over the past few years, the Jack Myers, the Carson Kearse, who's now Georgia Tech. I mean, John Stetzer as well, and fits along those lines. He fits that mentality that Pope really builds there, and I think he has a guy to just be. He was a freshman starter last year, and he's going to be a starter this year on the left side of the infield. So that's the guy for me. I think he jumped up to 24 now on the list. He just keeps rising. Big in the summer, big in the spring. I think he's the guy for me, and you'll hear me talk a lot about him on this show and over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and if you got Stutzer endorsing him too, you can feel pretty good about it, right?
Sure.
So no, it's been cool to see. Like obviously coming into Pope as a freshman is like no joke. They had a couple guys sneak in there last year. That's like a really rare occurrence to have the chance to even get in there, but he got that chance and ran with it. Even if there was like some upper class guys in the mix, he was like, "This is my spot to take." Definitely
hit all year long, all the way up into the state championship. It's consistent. You know what you're going to get with that, and finding that and then underclassmen is as good as you're going to get, especially for a coach like Chris Circo, who just gets the most out of his guys always.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movement in this top half into the top 40s. First guy for me is going to be Jake Sperlin. Sperlin was a guy that we probably got to see 2022, I think, maybe 2023, like 14, 15. He came over to the Georgia Southern, one of our Georgia Southern summer events as a 14, 15-year-old. And it was a guy that I really liked, talking to a couple of the TIFF guys that we're kind of close with. I'm like, who's this Sperlin kid coming up? I think he's, got a shot. And then I don't think he got to play a ton last year as a freshman, but man, he's really came onto the scene this fall. We got to see him in a scout day early in the year, sub-7 runner, moves really well in the outfield, could end up, playing the infield as well. But the bat for me from the left side has really developed. He was one of my favorite bats at preseason All-State, and he jumps from 70s into the 41, so cracking the top 50 for us. It was one of the stronger preseason performances for me, and another one of those just kind of South Georgia ball player type players that I think is going to be on a strong Tift County team that's going to get to contribute. We caught them a little bit of slack from not having the Tift County boys in that Power 25. I think they're going to be a team that's going to get into the mix early, but they're going to run into Lowndes in that region matchup, but they're hunting for that region title. So that's a series that we have circled down in South Georgia, no doubt.
Absolutely. I think I have Tift on the schedule once or twice already.
Yep. Who else? Tyson Gannis. We talked about it last weekend. Definitely want to mention it. It was a big bump. Obviously, being hurt last year, and they had a really good scrimmage, and I think they might have inter squad against each other. So a lot of the guys are really fired up about him. I think he could fight into that starting rotation spot, or just kind of be that Swiss Army knife type reliever that could give you 4 innings if the starter doesn't have it that day. Give you a 2-inning close with the game on the line. So he was another big bump for me. Who else we got? Anybody else of note? Bryce Fontenot, I've heard, is really, really coming on strong. I know we got to see him in the fall, and was ticking into the upper 80s. So I think he's going to be a really big piece for Bluff this year too. I know he's a guy high on your list.
And I just think this 27 catching class, like, who's going to separate themselves? Obviously, at the top, we have Caden Borchering. Behind that, I mean, you have guys like Bo Burns, who jumped up to number 23 on the list. A guy we saw.
Yeah, he's another one.
Yep. He has a chance to play every day this year for a quality Bluff team. It's a physical body behind the plate. You can stick him at third base as well. He's going to hit. There's a chance he hits for power as well. His defensive actions are good behind the plate. I think the pop times were sub 195. It's a good arm behind the plate as well. Just a full complete package you're going to look for in that. And does he have a chance to be that next top catcher in the class? There's Lee Holt there in the top 15 as well. You have other guys. I'm for pull up the list here as I'm just rambling on here. But
no, we got Cole Crawford, obviously a big name, big time football guy that I think he's going to end up going to play football, but obviously a big bat in that Cartersville lineup. Don McCann isn't too far behind. Lee Holt, him and Bruns are kind of
making a huge push right there.
Yeah, him and Bruns are kind of in that same slot right now. In those couple catcher spots. Hayden Downs, I know we mentioned he went to the moon in their scrimmage game, but you got to go out to see them at practice. What do you think there?
I like it a lot. It's really athletic. It's the guy looks like a slot receiver. I think he's 6'2", 180 pounds, really lean, going to grow into the frame a lot more. He's already showing juice. Carrollton's kind of a graveyard. It's massive. It's 402 to dead center. He put one out to left center field in practice that day. I think he hit 2 or 3 out overall over the day. Obviously, he hit one in the scrimmage the other day. The power's in there. It's just developing the hit tool and the other tools that make him an everyday player. That lineup is deep. They have some quality players patrolling the outfield, but I think he's a guy who has to be on that next tier of the next guys at Carrollton. There's a ton of kids in that 27 class. When you have guys like Caleb Hudson and Gunnar Foken and Hayden Downs, like that trio right now could be the next trio at that school. When you have guys like Maddox Sponsauer who are moving on this next past year, and Landon Eubanks and names like that.
Yeah, no doubt. And Caleb Hudson jumped into the top 10 for us. He's been a guy that we've loved, forever, ever since he was kind of at the 13U level. But it's getting put together. We've talked about it before. A couple more 27s like Ryan Johansson and Carson Reeves at Buford. I think those are 2 names you got to circle. 2 really competitive bats, both good runners. Johansson's might lay down a bunt and walk to first base. He's a really good bunter. I've seen him do that 1,000 times. He was a junior future gamer as well. But they had some good stuff going on in their scrimmage at Buford. So I know they'll open up, or I don't know if they open up, but they'll have that big time matchup against Parkview. But I'll be anxious to see if they crack into that lineup. But it's going to be littered with young guys, and those are 2 names to definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think either one of those guys has a chance to possibly win second base. I think Johansson might have the upper hand there. I think there's going to be a lot of open spots on that infield, in that whole lineup completely. So I think there's a chance for these young guys to play. I think Johansson's got a chance really at second base early.
Yeah, speaking of the Parkview Buford matchup, Andres Jimenez, another one. I saw he hit one over the light pole in one of their scrimmages or something. So the juice is real there. It's pretty legit, 2-way threat on the mound. I think he's going to get a start definitely early, get into that starting role early and kind of run with it. And so he's another one over at Parkview, I think, to definitely keep an eye on. But man, we can't the shortstop right-handed pitchers at the top, the 2-way shortstops and right-handed pitchers. It's pretty insane. Obviously, we bumped Hayes to 2. And Breck not too far behind. Harry Jones is in the mix, and then you have Max Rojazinski and Isaiah Gallison. It's like those four, like the shortstop, right-handed pitcher, like you're not going to find four better than that.
I mean, they're all going to be sitting low 90s halfway through the spring and starting in the 2 or the 3 hole for their lineup. Like it's as high ceiling 2 ways as you're going to find in the class. I mean, Hayes McGinnis sits at the top as we move him into the number 2 spot in the class. It's as polished as you're going to find. I think he's going to be the leadoff. I think he had a positive walk to K ratio as a freshman last year, a sub-2 ERA. I mean, it's all there. Andrew Breck's probably been the highest ceiling we've seen in the class all year. I mean, he's probably, I don't know where, let's go back and see where Breck started his 2024 year and the rankings. Let's see here. His initial ranking was 48th. That was probably January last year, we'll say.
Yep.
He's now 4th. So that's just the type of progression he's made over the year. It's a really good. It's a high spin fastball up to 2,500, fastball up to 88-90 with Reid. He's mixing in a slider and a changeup. The bat to ball has got really good. He's getting more physical. I think we saw him 3 times in 3 months, and he looked more physical each time. So it's exciting to see the progression with this 27 group, and it's just a group you're going to hear us talk about a lot. It's Future Games year. It's the first year these kids can be recruited by high schools here in August coming up. So this group is extremely important to us to be, to promote it as much as we can. I mean, these kids it's who we want to see all the time. Obviously, every grade matters, but this 27 group this year is the most important group when it comes to furthering your college career and what you do at the next level. So this is a group we're going to talk about a lot. Future Games is an important time this summer. Obviously, we want to talk about the summer schedule, Huddy. I know that's something you wanted to bring up before we ended this here tonight. Is the summer schedule? We got some new things on the docket. Obviously, some new places we're going to go see. So,
and the phones are going to be blowing up this spring too with this group too, with coaches trying to build their list. So that's the biggest thing for us is we want to be the eyes for a lot of these coaches to help as many of you guys as we can. Spring, summer, man. Summer schedule, not spring, summer. Summer schedule I'm really excited for. Top prospect games it is kind of the best event of the summer. Underclass will be June 3rd and 4th at Lake Point, and upper class will be June 10th and 11th at Lake Point. Invites will probably be rolling out for those here in the next couple weeks. But, man, we send so many invites getting out to the games and seeing new guys that we haven't seen. Those 26s that have made the jumps that we haven't got to see, are always guys that we're keying in on, obviously the uncommitted guys. So be on the lookout for those. We'll open the season up in May 28th at Lake Point with the summer open. But man, we'll get over to UGA at the brand new Foley Field on June 17th.
Those facilities looked phenomenal. I saw JD Offerhide posted some pictures the other day from his camp day, and I can't wait to get out in June. I mean, full turf. I mean, just everything looks great. I know Brock Bennett and the guys over there do a really good job. So I know they're fired up to have those facilities, and I'm just. I mean, I'll be in Athens a few times this spring for the college season because I'm gonna try to hit that a little bit more. That's why we have time. But yeah, I'm fired up. It's gonna be a good summer.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome to be in there for sure. And I jumped ahead a bit, but June 12th will be down in Savannah at Benedictine. So that'll be a good one to get down to. We've been down there in the past, it was probably a couple years ago. I think it actually ended up getting rained out. But yeah, good to get down to that area. We're definitely playing in that Glenn Academy, Brunswick, Tiff, that South Georgia, Savannah area trip for this spring as well. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. Got Rising Stars All-State coming up, Junior Future Games for those guys, 29s and 2030s. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff going on, but nothing more important than opening day tomorrow. So, with that, we will, catch the last half of the Super Bowl. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. Be sure to check it out on YouTube. We have all of our episodes on there, Prep Baseball GA or Prep Baseball Georgia, one of the two. But, yeah. I think we're upping the subscribers on there. I know a lot of guys tune in here, so not watching it back, but everything will live there for now. Want to eventually try to get it over to some other platforms, but obviously got a lot going on, and this has been cool to do. So yeah, good stuff, Ian. Anything else before we go? Ready to go for opening day tomorrow?
Ready to go. Ready to see everybody. Hope everybody's ready to go. Fired up. Get a good night's sleep tonight. Big day tomorrow for everybody. parents, coaches, players, everybody. It's a big day for the Georgia community. So just excited to get the spring rolling. Thanks for hanging out.
For sure. We will see y'all tomorrow. Remember, Sundays, 8:30, we'll go live, recap the whole week, look at the week ahead. Next week's going to be fun with all the games we got.
Guests every week. We'll do some fun segments with the guests every week as well. So we're going to try to do as much as we can with this show. It's going to be evolving as the spring goes, per se.
Definitely, for sure. Sweet. Well, good luck tomorrow. We'll see y'all out at the field, and see you next time.